And you know what? I think I'm just going to introduce there and just keep on cruising. So give it up for Sam.
Sam! Oh. Hot water, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
It's the drink of kings, right? It's a good morale boost. So I'm not a comedian, by the way. Oh, a laugh already. Good. So last Christmas, a few months ago, my mom, as a Christmas present, she said, "Hey, how serious are you about maybe someday becoming a stand-up comedian?" And I said, "Not at all." But I had read her, I had flipped through the list on my computer, this epic list that I've been keeping for 5 years of all the funny ideas and good fodder for maybe a joke. That is, some of them have a fleshed out punchline, but some don't. And we were laughing in the living room. I was cracking Mom up, on an audience of one. So, I introduced her to this list by saying, "Hey, if one day I ever did become a stand-up comic, here's the list." And we rapped through it a bit. And so she said, "Hey, there's a comedy class coming up, and so do you want to do that?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And although I am a showman, I am a percussionist, and I'm also a teacher, and have been segueing into teaching more and more so over playing. And I'm not going to tease you with anything right now, but I am going to tease you by doing that and saying that afterwards, if you want me to teach you the 3 magic tricks of drumming, which is very eloquently displayed on the middle panel of the gray panel there, I can teach you. I live in Tascadero, and I got a home studio if you want to take some lessons. Plug. So, I took the class, and for the sake of maybe bolstering my showmanship, just to be on stage and have an opportunity like this is the first time ever I've ever spoken to like classrooms. Yes, classrooms. I teach in Paso at the elementary schools during the week, and so I have groups of people that I've spoken to as a teacher would for the last. I gave my first drum lesson when I was 14 years old, so it's been a while. I'm 43, do the math. And so, but this is the first time I'm like having an exclusive room of adults like making eye contact. This is very, very new. I told Danielle, the teacher, who unfortunately isn't here tonight, she couldn't make it, that I'll just be happy if they're paying attention, right? So I don't have any punchlines, I have no jokes, I'm just up here practicing, essentially getting up and talking to multiple people all at once. Surprisingly, there's no heart rate at all. There's no I don't feel my jugular like wanting to burst out of its place there. But that's just a lot of experience being on stage, which I guess we could say that a teacher is an entertainer, is a showman of sorts, because you're constantly having to sell your idea. You're just constantly entertaining. Even if it's not necessarily ha 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 laughing, entertaining, like slap my knee, entertaining, but entertaining in an interest way, like, ooh, that's interesting, and bringing new ideas to a learner. So that's my jam, is to teach. I think I love teaching more than I love playing, which is saying something because I really, really love to play. So I came up here with no material, but I did have something that I was rapping with. I was practicing with my classmates this bit about the word phone. That wouldn't it be funny if in the year 3000 they still called it a phone, right? And maybe it's like a microchip that's Neuralink, Elon Musk in the brain, but wouldn't it be funny if we still called it a phone? Right? So that was the premise, but then that wasn't really funny. It was more just like a an interesting intellectual geek out thing. Not really, I realized last week only that, wait a second, I'm not a stand-up comic, and this isn't really that funny to begin with. It's like ha 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 funny to me because I love words and linguistics and geek out. I'm in the dictionary every day of my life. Webster Dictionary app, bam. 100% of the days I go to that at least once, sometimes twice, because I hear a new word and I can't not. I'll let a few go here and there if it's like an obvious like science word or whatever. It's just like I'm never going to use that in my life. But if it sounds like I might actually, like, oh, that's and it's obvious that within the context that it might actually be a word that I want to use, then I'll look it up for sure. It's exhausting, actually. So, but I did think about another premise that is more real to my own life, right? The funniest material that comics have are things from their own life. And so on my phone right there, which is filming me, I would read right now what I sent to my best friend last week, which was hilarious, if I do say so myself. And I got and after I wrote it, he gave me the coveted LMAO, right? LMAO, says the millennial. They can just rattle it off. Meanwhile, I'm Gen X and I can't, say that as fast. Kind of like Janice with the LGBT, blah, 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 yeah. We're figuring out these acronyms together. I feel you. So the premise of what was funny with my best friend was I sent him a video, right, as one does, YouTube video about the world collapsing, typical dystopian. Hey, check out this video, the world's falling apart. And then he said something about people's heads being up their asses. But I do have a comedic mind. I think I might actually do well as a comedian if I actually, took it seriously. Because instantly I thought, and he's my best audience, he's my best friend for a reason because he laughs at all my jokes. That's the core of the relationship, is that he cracks up at my what I think is pretty witty fodder. So he said, oh, people with their heads up their asses, and I said back to him, I'm glad I'll be long dead before 100% of the population is being choked by their own sphincters. So that's the only punchline I got. See you, Vic.
Thanks, Sam. Give it up for a teacher doing stand-up.